Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com. This is part 4 of the 4 baby cards for the August class using the Wildly Happy stamp set that is in the Stampin' Up! 2021 annual catalog. And I had several people that were requesting some baby cards. I am using some retired products that I had on hand to make these cards. I still got ideas off of Pinterest for using other things. The heart that I am using for the background, I did take the little heart out of Heart Happiness, which is a retired stamp set. And then the Hello Baby I did have from the Moon Baby that was a while back from that stamp set. And the rest of this is just some cutouts. I also had some adhesive back sequins left from the Gingham Gala set a couple of years ago, so I wanted to use some of those up. And so let's get started. The pieces that we will be needing for this card is a basic gray cardstock that is 8.5 by 5.5. You score it at 4 1/4 in landscape, and then you fold and burnish that edge. You'll need a Whisper white cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4, and this goes on the inside of the card for a sentiment or message. Then I used Purple Posy cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches to go on the front of the card. And then the piece that we'll be doing some sponging and stamping on is a Whisper White 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I also had a scrap piece of white Whisper White cardstock that I stamped the elephants from the stamp set in Memento Tuxedo Black. On my original card, I did use the Smoky Slate dark and light blends to color them, and also the crumb cake for the ground. You could also use the Smoky Slate or even a basic gray Stampin' Write marker. On mine, this time I was using the watercolor pencils because with those I wanted to show that you could use the blender pens and instead of an aqua painter, and you kind of get a different effect with your watercolor pencils by using a blender pen. It doesn't dilute the color and make it kind of watery and washed out like the aqua painter, and it just kind of smooths those lines and edges for creating some shading, and if you want you can go back and add some more, but it's just a whole different effect to use instead of the aqua painter. So that's why I was showing both the blends and the blender pen with the watercolor pencils, and I'm going to be showing that in my class as well, that there's several different ways of coloring things in. Some people are intimidated by the blends, Stampin' Blends, because they feel like they don't know how to do the shading right or whatever, and some of them already have the watercolor pencils, so I'm going to teach them how to use either one to be able to do that. And then you're going to just take your snips and cut this part out. And I'm going to pause because I am not good with my video yet. So I just paused a little bit so I could get some of this done. But I did want to show you that when you're cutting out with your snips, a lot of us call it fussy cutting, you're just going to actually hold your snips in place and you'll move the paper to create your cuts. And so that's what I did here. And so that piece is ready. So the background here, what I did was first take Purple Posy ink because I still have it. You could use a lighter shade of Highland Heather if you want, by kind of wiping it off and doing it that way. And then you're just kind of using that to sponge in the center part of this piece. The Purple Posy ink posed a problem when it was in production. So there's a lot of P's for you, alliteration. And it didn't quite turn out after being stamped the way that it should have, so they did discontinue the Purple Posy. I just happened to still have it and wanted to use it, but you're more than welcome to use the Highland Heather. You might want to do a little more sponging off on your grid paper before kind of sponging it on. But then I use the Highland Heather ink to stamp these hearts, and I just kind of did them in a different array. Looks like I missed a part of that one. See how good I am with, there we go. And I'm just kind of going from one side to the other. And I know that the elephants are going to hide a portion of this. Okay, so there you have that. And then I'm going to take the Hello Baby, and I'm going to stamp that in the basic gray ink. Down in the corner, just so it kind of stands out. You could use Smoky Slate if you would like, or even the Tuxedo Black to be able to do that. So now it's just a matter of putting everything together. You could stamp sentiments or images or whatever on the piece that goes on the inside, but again, I'm making a bunch of them and I don't know when I'm going to use them, so I would like to kind of have some generics ready to go that I could add a sentiment later. And so I'm just going to put a blank piece of the Whisper White cardstock on the inside. And then I'm going to put the Purple Posy down on the front. And then I will add some adhesive to the stamped piece. Okay. And this one I did create a little bit more of a border. And I did want to use dimensionals to pop up the elephants, create a little bit of dimension on the front of the card. And just kind of where I want it, and put it down. And then you can take your sequins and just add those around as you want. There we go. And so there you have another card for the baby card collection. And I hope that you will come back and view my YouTube channel, and check out my blog at dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com, and thank you.